What a lovely day for wind shard farming. Huh? What's that Moogle doing here? Oh god. Oh no. What could this possibly mean? Hello everyone, and welcome to a little bit of a different video today. We have some things we need to discuss that are important for the entire future of Patchlock. As I'm sure you can tell with the Moogle standing next to me, you probably know what the topic for today is. It's going to be all about the seasonal events and what they entail for the series as a whole. We're starting today with the Hunt for Allegory, the Moogle treasure trove. And as you can see in my chat, this will continue until the launch of patch 7.3. And so, for a lot of people, I'm sure like, what is this? What is this event? I've never heard of it before. Well, the treasure trove is an event that allows you to earn extra rewards for completing specific dungeons, raids, alliance and normal, trials, PvP, gates in the Gold Saucer, which we'll get to in 251, and ocean fishing, which we won't have to worry about till Shadowbringers. But for doing all this content, you receive these Tomestones of Allegory. There are also other special objectives, which are the weekly objectives, which these pick one item from the previous standard list and put it in here. If you complete it, you get a boost of 20. Mini-Mog challenges are predefined. We could do both of these on Patchlock. We have access to Society quests. Being in 2.2, we have access to 4 of them, even though I could still do the Exilux because I made an exception for them. Or the Chirurgeon, which happens to be a 2.2 fish that we have already caught. The Ultimog, however, this is level 90 content. We will not be able to do this until we get to Endwalker, so this is off the table. But what are these Tomestones even useful for? We can earn these things, but what are they used for? So if we talk to the Moogle here and go to his newest exchange, I'm also going to open my achievements because it'll be important for this discussion, but we will worry about this a little bit later. There are three major categories of items that I want to talk about. We have the items that should always be allowed, I feel, the items that should never be allowed, and then some of the items that require some level of discussion. For the items that I think always should be allowed, we're going to start with the accessories that are event exclusive. So in this case, the coffee cup earring, the demon brick earring, and all the way at the bottom, the hatchling earring. Now, these three items are strictly cosmetic. They would go into the glamour dresser and they would sit there doing absolutely nothing for the remainder of the time on this account. The hatchling earring is, I think, even more of a special exception because technically this item existed at the time of patch 2.2. So this item is always allowed no matter what. But these items give no benefit to the account. They don't count towards any achievements. Perfectly fine. The next exception I want to make is the Taoist Moogle. Now, this is a minion that released in 4.4 in the middle of Stormblood. But I do want to purchase it because it was only available from an event in fall of 2018. But there is a caveat to this. As you can see, there is an achievement for obtaining 100 minions. There's even one for obtaining 30. These did not come out for a while, so I would be able to purchase the Taoist Moogle under the caveat that I cannot use it. It would need to sit in a retainer, taking up an inventory slot, which is an active detriment to me, and could not be used until I reach patch 4.4. But I think that is fine. As for the final items, I would say these gear pieces that are glamour-based, though I will not be buying these because I will need to craft them anyway for my Weaver crafting log. And the final category, so these are Shadowbringers items. I think they're perfectly fine because they are just housing items. There's also a caveat to these because as you can see, it says desynthesizable item level 540. We will be unlocking desynthesis when we get to patch 2.3, which is right around the corner. The caveat to these items is that if I were to buy any housing items of any kind, I would not be allowed to desynthesize them until I got to the patch that they were introduced. I'm not going to be buying housing items anyway, so it's a moot point. But I figured I would at least mention it because they don't give me an actual benefit. Oh, sorry, nope, there's one more item. I almost forgot. There's one more specific item I need to make an exception for, which is this World Apart Orchestrion roll. So the reason I want to make a potential exception for this Orchestrion roll is because it is only obtainable from Free Company Airship Ventures. Now, these are similar to retainer ventures, but are done through the FC. This item I would never be able to properly obtain in my entire playthrough of Patchlock. Though, as you can see here in the inventory, there are achievements for earning a certain number of music rolls. Now, this item would be allowed under the same caveat as the Taoist Moogle. I would not be allowed to use this music roll until the patch it was released. Once again, it would take up an inventory space in my retainer because it is an item I would never be able to properly obtain. Now, with that set of items out of the way, let's start talking about the items that are permanently banned. The minions that are obtainable from other sources. So we have Torajiro here, which is available from Centurio Seals, which I believe those are a Heaven's Word item. We're also banning the Wind Up Kobold, as this comes from Tribals, which I will have to pay for with my own gil. And finally, the Ephemeral Necromancer. Now, this minion comes from a late Shadowbringers dungeon, the Hero's Gauntlet, from the final boss chest as a rare drop. Now, this minion could conceivably be purchased here to avoid that issue, and similar to the others, could be left in my retainer and just take up an inventory slot. However, I believe that is a little disingenuous to the series, as I am trying to collect items in order. And so I think this should be banned, and I would have to obtain it the normal, legitimate way, since it does still exist in the game. Now, the second category is, once again, music rolls. We have Return to Oblivion. This one is obtainable from another source, so I'm banning it, because it is available from Eden's Verse, Refulgence, which is E8. So, even though this is a super rare drop from there, it is technically farmable. So, this item is not accessible to me for the course of this event. And I believe there's 2 more categories left, so next are the mounts. So, as you can see here at the bottom of the list here, I have this achievement, Flute of the Plume. Now, this is obtained from Stormblood for achieving a mount from all 7 of the relevant trials. For every expansion, except for A Realm Reborn, there are, well, I guess including Realm Reborn for this case, there are 7 collectible mounts from each of the major trials. So in A Realm Reborn, it's each of the primal trials. A Realm Reborn is also a bit of an exception because you need 6 of them for the achievement, and the 7th one is Nightmare, which is a rare drop from the first 3 primals. But once you collect all of them, they give you an achievement, a new mount, and a title. So because of this, all the ones that do tend towards these are banned. So the Blissful Kamui, Reveling Kamui, and Ruby Gwibber are all banned because they have to be collected from the trials. Next, we have the Direwolf and Dracehorn whistles, similar to the Kobold or the Wind Up Kobold. These are available from Tribals for a very steep gil price. I will have to purchase them from there. Finally, we have the Iron Frog Mover Ignition Key. This comes from a achievement fate in Shadowbringers that I will have to earn legitimately, so banned. There's 2 more banned categories. Next is all gear. Obviously, I'm not going to give myself an inherent advantage through the Moogle Tombstone event. So these gear pieces are all banned, period, no exceptions. So, perma-banned. Then we get to the Triple Triad cards. These won't matter until I unlock Gold Saucer in 2.51, so now they don't matter. But the next time this event does roll around, they will matter. So at that time, once I can use these, they are permanently banned. I have to obtain them the legitimate way, because all of these cards can be earned legitimately in the game. So I will be forced to do so. I guess there is one more. We have the riding mats. Now, these items I have been back and forth on a couple times, but after talking to Maeve, we came to the decision that I was thinking these would be okay originally because they are a quality of life released in Stormblood that makes walking on mounts faster. And because I'm doing all of my walking on mounts and not flying, these would give me a nice benefit. And she came back to me by saying, well, if you are accepting this quality of life, then you should also accept flight. And that made perfect sense to me, so I banned these maps. But again, I would love to hear what your thoughts are in the comments, so please make sure to leave them so I can read them. And now we get to move on to the items that are worth discussing. First of the major big ones, there's like 2 big ones we need to discuss. So you know what? I'll get back to these. We'll talk about the smaller ones first. We'll take it one step at a time. So we have the polka dot parasol, the ballroom etiquette, the Machina's barding, and the Gear Abanian plate. Now, these are all cosmetic items that have no benefits in-game. They don't work towards any achievements. They are strictly cosmetic items. However, they are all obtainable from legitimate means. For example, the Gear Abanian plate haircut comes as a rare drop from Heaven on High, which will be available in Stormblood. Machina's barding is available from the Firmament, alongside the pastoral dot parasol, which both come out in Shadowbringers. And Overzealous Affirmations does release properly in Stormblood from Moisture Warp block boxes on Eureka. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it, but we will be probably ending up farming these when we get there because of how much stuff I properly need. There are a couple items that are left. We'll save this one for last. This one will take a lot to talk about. So, next we will talk about one of the big ones, which are these Time-Worn maps. These maps are available for level 70, so Stormblood, 80, Shadowbringers, and 2490, which is Endwalker. We haven't unlocked treasure dungeons yet, but starting in Heavensward, if I go over here to my treasure hunt, we gain the ability to find treasure dungeons when opening chests randomly. So if we complete treasure maps, open the chests, there is a low chance, I think it's probably like 10, 25%, something like that, that a portal will spawn and the player can enter a treasure dungeon for extra rewards. So, there are achievements for entering these dungeons. Each of them has a max of 20, which Lost Canals of Uznair and Aquapolis are the two for Heavensward, I believe. These two items, or these two dungeons, require you to enter them 20 times and clear them successfully 20 times. Yes, because these are the unhidden maps. These are the super rare ones. But the thing about these treasure dungeons is that they are completely random. There is a random chance whenever you partake in it that you just get ejected. I came up with a potential compromise of I will be allowed to purchase these, but I will not be allowed to use them until I have gained the raid them 20 times achievements legitimately. This way, it requires me to earn the basic achievement normally, but makes the farming achievement easier. So, for an example here, I've been into this dungeon 14 times. I have not cleared it a single time. If we move a little further along here, I've been in here 15 times, and I've cleared this one 3 times, which is pretty good, actually. If we go to the Endwalker ones here, I've cleared this Excitatron, or I've gone into it 20 times. I've cleared it twice. I've been in the Gymnasian Agadon 20 times. I've cleared it 3 times. Actually, this one is more like 30 or 40 times. I did these maps a lot. These dungeons are random. They're very hard to beat. There's still a skill element because you have to clear all the mobs. Sometimes there's extra mobs that give you extra rewards. So these things are just RNG gauntlets. I am currently of the opinion that I think it is okay to purchase them as long as I do not use them until all of the achievements for an expansion for entering the dungeons have been obtained. That is currently what I'm leaning towards. But again, I think it's really important to hear what everyone has to say, so please leave your thoughts in a comment. It's super important. I really want to know what everyone has to say about this. But this is one of the things that I keep going back and forth on, and that's kind of where I'm sitting at the moment. But I want to know what you all have to say before I make a final decision. And the final big hitter, the MGP Platinum card. So like I mentioned previously, the Gold Saucer unlocks in patch 2.51, which is a little while away still, but we are edging closer and closer to it, especially with the end of 2.2 being right around the corner. For this item in particular, we had to do an experiment. I didn't know if this item added towards the achievement for earning MGP at Gold Saucer attractions. Now, after doing some testing, earning some points, and buying one of these, it turns out this item does not give MGP for earning it for these achievements, which means that it does not directly benefit achievements. On the contrary, it could indirectly benefit them. And in order to explain this, we're going to need to quickly take a trip to the Gold Saucer, so I'll meet you there in just a minute. While I wait for my teleport to take a million years. Alright, now that we're here in the Gold Saucer, we need to talk about some things. First of all, once I unlock Triple Triad, I would be able to come over here to this trader and purchase cards. As you can see, there are a ton of cards here, as well as some packs that I can buy that can give me random cards. These would technically be available as soon as I unlock the Gold Saucer and unlock Triple Triad. However, if I were to allow the MGP Platinum cards, I would not be allowed to spend them on Triple Triad cards because that would directly feed into multiple achievements. So we're going to go through the Gold Saucer a little bit here. Like I said, I showed this achievement. These don't count towards any of that, which is fine. But if we scroll down here, we have these achievements for Triple Decker for earning a certain number of Triple Triad cards, currently all the way up to 423 of them. So these achievements would be directly fueled by MGP that I did not earn legitimately if I were to buy cards from this trader. So they're banned. Next, we can come over to the prize claim. Weapons. These are item level 50 weapons. These aren't a benefit of any kind. They're mainly here just for glamour. Same for all of these down here. They're just glamour items, so these we won't worry about. Then if we check the gear sets, the same as before, these are all item level 1 items. These are strictly glamour items. We can ignore all of these. Music and furnishings, now we get into a little bit of an issue. The furniture is not desynthable, not sellable. These items, sure, I could buy these if I wanted to. Now we have the music rolls. Like I mentioned, music rolls do tend to an achievement. So because of this, these would be banned from purchase. No, they feel an achievement, they're banned. This category is the big one. As you can see, we have minions, we have mounts, and as we have talked about, these do feed into achievements, so these would all be banned unless I earn it legitimately. And then we get to the items that don't matter as much. We have the hairstyles, which again, do not do anything. They exist here as glamour items. We have ballroom etiquette. These are emotes. Once again, nothing special. They're just emotes. They're cosmetics. Then we have some bardings here. Again, probably fine. They are just glamour items. Fashion accessories, also perfectly fine. These don't benefit anything. And the glasses, which, once again, cosmetics. These would all be fine. I could purchase all of these under the specific condition that I have to spend the entirety of the cards on earning these items. If I wanted to buy the bee's knees, say, I would not be able to spend 2 cards, buy this, and then keep the other 20 for something else. I'd have to buy Pursuing Happiness, so that this and this add up to 100k, which is 2 cards. I could buy the fancy beverages, as long as I spent exactly 1 card. Etc, etc, etc. I would be able to buy the Lexan Tails, but I wouldn't be able to buy just Great Lengths. I would have to finagle all of this together so that it ended up costing exactly 100k. I could do 30k, 30k, 40k. That would be 100k. That's 2 platinum cards, and that would be fine. So those are kind of the rules I have preliminarily at the moment. I have not been sold on any of these. I have been earning some from doing passive roulettes. So these will potentially come up as an option. More likely than not, I will be spending all of them, if allowed, on treasure maps, because those are far more important than MGP here is for these items. Some of these are really nice, but they will probably be ignored. Everybody absolutely adores Shake Drink emote. I mean, look at this emote. This emote is fantastic. This emote is actually legitimately amazing, but it doesn't benefit me in any way, shape, or form to earn this emote. Whereas I could spend my MGP on mounts and minions and Triple Triad cards, which probably Triple Triad cards are the most important thing. So, because of this, that's kind of how I'm feeling on all of this stuff at the moment. I would really want to hear all of your opinions in the comments below. Please, please make sure you leave all of your thoughts on all of these items. It is important because this decision that I make today, or whenever, with this before I sell all of these items, so I guess by the start of 7.3, up until then, I have the time to make a decision on this, and once I do, it will influence the account forever, because these events come back every single time a new patch is going to drop. So it is imperative that we come up with a solution for these. So thank you all so much for watching and taking the time to be a part of this discussion. Second Coil has been absolutely destroying me. I don't remember if I said that earlier, but it will take a little more time for me to get the video out, hence why I'm having a bit of a discussion video here talking about such a major topic. But yes, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend and look forward to the coils coming out on next weekend. Take care, everyone, and I look forward to reading all of your thoughts.